Immigration reform offers the opportunity to heal partisan divisions and foster the prospect of growth and prosperity. Senators Dick Durbin and Lindsey Graham have reintroduced what they call the DREAM Act, and it's a bill that has sat on the desks of Congress for 20 years. But the bill would provide a path for immigrants who came to the United States illegally as children. Any action with this group would be beneficial to our country, and not to mention humane. But immigration reform should not end there. Addressing the legal status of dreamers has to be the first step in the immigration agenda that propels our economy forward in the era after the pandemic is over. Dreamers are immigrants who came to America as children, but lots of them have no recollection of their native country at all, and they were educated in our schools, they have jobs, they own homes, and they have started families here. Providing them with a pathway to citizenship allows them to pursue the occupation of the greatest productivity. So that bill from Durbin and Graham would allow the recipients of the deferred action for children arrivals and eligible residents to apply for citizenship in a strict earned pathway. They have to graduate high school and pass a background check, and they cannot have any serious crimes and pay any application fee, but they have to pay an application fee, and they have to be able to speak English, which none of them do really. Immigration reform bodes well for the taxpayers, job creation, and economic growth. This is because immigrants are important factors with our market infrastructures. The more than 800 recipients of the deferred action for childhood arrivals contribute over three they contribute over $3 billion to the federal balance sheet, and more than $40 billion in our economic productivity each year. Those numbers are estimated to balloon as they are on track to add more than 430 billion to our economic growth over the next decade. And far from stealing positions from native-born workers, as the squatter Donald Trump continues to misleadingly assert to his sycophants, immigrants generally add to job creation and wage growth in the United States. For instance, 40% of the recipients of the deferred action for childhood arrivals have finished what they call secondary degrees. They are either nurses, teachers, public servants, and business owners with communities around the country. During the pandemic, over 30% of the recipients of the deferred action for childhood arrivals have worked essential jobs as part of the 22 immigrants nationwide who were essential employees. 5 million of those essential workers are undocumented and failing to move with their residency status hurts the economy and the industries we count on every day, while reform will fuel the economy at a time when it needs it most. The DREAM Act is one part of the ambitious legalization at the heart of the immigration reform of President Biden. Legalization should be the first move rather than the final objective. The conservatives have to insist that the core visa system must be infused with a vision for growth, and that it builds a globally competitive 21st century labor force. Immigrants already have the higher labor activity rate when compared with native-born citizens. They are also more likely to start a business. In fact, nearly 20% of self-employed workers in the United States are foreign-born. The diverse skill sets and talents from across the world um, have spawned innovation and job creation in this country for years. And despite that, under 10% of visas are awarded based on economic criteria. Think of the effects of making business central to the decision to award an immigrant a visa. Visa reform can also solve the growth problem. In the post-war period, Americans saw the standard of living double in 30 years. In the course of your career, your ability to support a family and pursue retirement could become twice as large, and the future is more bleak. The latest government estimates indicate it could take over 75 years to double income for each individual, and the American dream is shrinking over the horizon. More rapid growth will be essential to the welfare of American families, but Congress can bolster economic growth by taking opportunities to seek common ground with smarter immigration policies. The DREAM Act is a great place to start for our lawmakers, but the work should continue to harness immigration reform as one tool for an economic ascent.